Good evening, and welcome to Doctorpiece Theater. My name is Dr. Dennis Business. And tonight we will continue our dive into the magic of the unicorn. We will find that unicorn, and we will claim it for ourselves, friends. Because that is where we begin tonight. When we last left the forest, we were met with a choice. The water in our village has become dangerously tainted. So we head to see Marie Claire, the eldest and wisest of the people in our village. She gives us some information and a magical pendant and sends us on our way. We head to a graveyard, which is our place of woe, but it was the wrong place of woe. So through there, in a place that's high but low, we had a choice to go to the church in the valley with the tall steeple, or to go to the rolling hills, and we chose the rolling hills. And as we went through, we saw a bat fly into a cave. Now we could chase that bat, but we were met with a choice. Do we chase it or sit and wait? We sat and waited, and that bat led us to a cave around the corner that we hadn't previously seen. In that cave, we were almost killed by lightning, but then met the sorceress, who gave us a choice. We could either have the power to talk to animals, or we could have a golden net specifically made for catching magical beasts. We chose to talk to animals. And no sooner had we made that choice than we met the wise old owl, who was obviously an owl from the bayou of someplace. And he showed us to the warlock, and he gave us information, and we were met with a choice. Do we reason with the warlock? Or do we beat down the warlock and take that unicorn horn? What did we choose? It's the magic horn I need, not the rest of the unicorn, you tell the owl. I want to meet this warlock. Follow me. The owl leads you along a dry stream bed, where water once flowed before the drought. After walking a few miles, you spot the flickering of a campfire. Squinting your eyes, you can just make out a small figure dancing around the flames. Isn't that the warlock? Lower your voice, scolds the owl. He has extraordinary hearing and the sharpest of eyes. When you are finally close enough to get a good look, a tight knot of panic forms in your stomach. The warlock's eyes glow red in the darkness, and his gleeful howls strike terror in your heart. Well, I guess I'll just have to ask if he can lend me the unicorn horn, you whisper to the owl. How many times do I have to tell you? He is not a kind-hearted soul. He has no heart at all. He's not much taller than me. Maybe I can sneak up on him and wrestle him to the ground, you suggest. Then I can grab the horn and run away before he can stand up. You sound more confident than you really are. Are you sure? The warlock won't hesitate to use magic to win a battle, warns the owl. I'm going to fight him, you tell the owl. It's the only way I will ever get that unicorn horn. You creep closer to the whirling warlock. And then you duck behind a tree. Peering cautiously around the trunk, you spot the unicorn horn beside the warlock's dancing feet. With more strength than you knew you possessed, you hurl yourself on the warlock's back. He stumbles, nearly falling to the ground, but quickly regains his balance and flips you over his head. You crash to the ground. The warlock roughly yanks you up again, gripping your arms tightly. He stares into your eyes. The next thing you know, you are dancing feverishly, mesmerized by the fire in his red eyes. The warlock blinks slowly a few times, and you find yourself growing very sleepy. You can barely keep your eyes open, let alone continue dancing. Overwhelmed by slumber, you are conscious only of the warlock's whisper in your ear. Sleep well, foolish urchin. You'll have 500 years to dream. The end. The summer of 1507 is exceptionally dry throughout Flanders. Fires scorch the forest, crops wither, and animals collapse from thirst. Nowhere in the drought as severe as in your own small village. Just last week, when you went to go check the dwindling water supply, you discovered a dead rat floating in the well upon which everyone depended. Since then, the water has been foul and tainted. The barrels of rainwater are nearly empty, and all attempts to dig a new well have yielded nothing but dry earth. One morning, after weeding the field you inherited when your parents died 10 years ago, you pay a visit to Marie Claire. She is the oldest person in the village and one of your special friends. Some people say, "This might be the last summer any of us lives to see." You tell her sadly, "None of the other villages around has enough water to share with us, and it's hopeless to keep trying to dig a new well. I wish there was something I could do about it." Marie Claire looks up from her knitting. "You could try to lure a unicorn to the well. Why, the touch of its horn purifies even poison." "But Marie Claire," you exclaim, "around here unicorns are rarer than water. I bet it would be easier to find a sorceress than a unicorn." "That's a good idea," she replies. "I'm sure the sorceress knows all about unicorns. Why don't you look for her?" "But no one has seen her in years," you remind Marie Claire. "The last person who tried to find her never returned." "Ah, but you are 10 times smarter than anyone who has ever searched for the sorceress. If anyone can find her, it is you." Although you feel flattered, you are not sure you are really that clever. "Well, I'll give it a try. I wonder if I still remember the riddle describing the way to find the sorceress. Is this right?" You take a deep breath and recite. "Near a land reserved for woe, in a place that's high but low, watch which way the bat doth go, find me there, and I will know." "Perfect," says Marie Claire as she hands you a glass pendant shaped like a raindrop. "Put on my good luck talisman. Use it as you need it, my friend." You say goodbye to Marie Claire, and then you roam the parched fields. After pondering the riddle, you think of 2 places reserved for woe. The sorceress could mean the village graveyard, or the small camp outside the village where 2 men who suffer from leprosy live in gloomy isolation. You turn down the path to the shabby hut where the 2 leprosy victims live. You know the villagers stay far away from the men for fear of catching their dreaded skin disease, and they will be very upset if they ever learned you visited this place. When you first glimpse the 2 swollen faces peering out of the doorway, you panic, and then you force yourself to continue towards them. "Welcome, friend. Please come inside," says one of the men warmly. "Thanks, but I'll stay outside," you reply. "I'm looking for the sorceress. The riddle says she lives near a place of woe, and I thought that might mean your home." "Since no one will have anything to do with us, this is indeed a woeful place," says the second man, "but I don't think it's the one your riddle describes. We have never seen the sorceress. I think even she must be afraid of catching our disease." "Is leprosy that bad?" you ask. "No," says the first man, "but the way people treat us is horrible. In fact, you better hurry back. If anyone sees you here, they won't let you return home." You say goodbye to the men and head towards home. As you reach the road to the village, you meet several of your neighbors. Their faces whiten. Their eyes dart back and forth between you and the men with leprosy, who are still standing by their doorway. "Stay back!" shouts one man. "Keep away!" "It's all right," you insist. "I was just there for a minute." "You can't return to the village. Go back to the lepers," shrieks another neighbor, eyeing you fearfully. As you start to follow them, the villagers gather stones. "Leper! Leper!" they scream, throwing rocks at you. Filled with horror, you race away from the villagers. You slowly realize that you cannot go home, but you cling to the hope that their panic will subside in a few days, especially if you find a way to purify the well. Since you can't continue your search for the sorceress by investigating the graveyard, you decide to concentrate on finding a unicorn. Good plan. You turn away from your village and walk along the road toward the forest, hoping to find a unicorn there. Before long, you hear a cart approaching behind you. The driver is Simon, a traveling peddler you've always liked. You wave to him and ask, "Where are you going?" Simon pulls the cart to a halt beside you. "Everyone around here is too upset about the drought to take much interest in my trinkets. I'm going to try my luck in the city of Eris. At least people won't mind me trading there. You want to join me? I wouldn't mind some company for the long trip." Eris! You've never been to that city before. Although you would love to go, you suspect unicorns are more likely to live in the forest. But maybe you could meet someone in Eris who could tell you how to find a unicorn. If you decide to search for a unicorn in the forest, turn to page 13. If you climb in the cart headed for Eris, turn to page 14. That was our 5th attempt at reading The Magic of the Unicorn. We have not found the unicorn yet. We saw the unicorn horn, but then we were hypnotized for 500 years by the warlock. I thought we had a magical pendant to protect against that shit, but I guess the magical pendant is just trash. And Marie Claire might be an idiot. So, we started over again. And instead of picking the graveyard, we went to the lepers. And now from there, we'll have to figure out if we go to the city of Eris or not. But we can deal with that next time. Because this has been Doctorpiece Theater. And my name is Dr. Dennis Business. And as always, my friend.